Hello, everyone, and welcome to the September uh, Glimesh board meeting, covering the month of August. Thank you all for joining me live, or if you're watching this on YouTube later, thank you for listening in. This is our Glimesh board meeting. If you haven't been here before, we kind of cover the company news. You know what's happening at the big high level. Cover finances and metrics and all that kind of stuff. And we stream it live on Glimesh.tv. So there's a chat room. All of you are welcome to comment or ask questions or insult whatever you want. So one thing to cover though, if you are in Discord or you are I'm getting a phone number from a local area, ignore it for now. If you are in Discord or are in chat, just remember that your voice and or text will be recorded and uploaded to YouTube. So if you don't consent to that, please don't do either of those things. You could probably talk in Discord instead, like on the text chat, and we could read it out for you. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So there really hasn't been much happening as far as the company business in the last month. You gotta remember we did do the board meeting a little late last month, so it's kind of like a short amount of time between the two. So nothing like momentous has happened or changed. We did kind of have that discussion regarding the community ownership of Glimesh that has really been formulating on building Glimesh. Reading everyone's comments and opinions and thoughts has kind of helped me actually solidify more of an idea of what exactly I want, which I'm going to be typing up here soon and getting on building Glimesh for comment. I think one of the things that I noticed for the most universally true statement is that everyone was confused by everything. I think I was too, right? And that's why I wanted to kind of get it out there and kind of boil it down into something that makes more sense. And so, looking at everyone's thoughts and comments kind of helped me to come up with a better understanding of what I was thinking. I'm gonna get that on paper. By paper, I mean a keyboard, and have it as kind of like a first draft of a proposal. And then, of course, we'll continue to develop that with everyone. But we'll start with more of like a concrete base, so it should be a little bit easier to comprehend what's going on. And then once we have that, we can have that next live discussion regarding it. I know we wanted to have those. I think that'll be impactful to be able to discuss it in real time. So we're also doing some kind of nitty gritty technical stuff. I'm really going forward towards cost savings right now. Because the less of expenses we have, the more of profit we have. And growth is not immediately tackleable by me, but cost is, And so I want to kind of kill, without sacrificing quality, right? I want to kill the cost of all the servers that we have. The web servers is kind of going to be my next focus. And the database servers as well. Those are costing in surplus of, I would say, $500 a month to host. And so, if I could get those down to $100 a month, then that gives us $400 more wiggle room to actually continue to build Glimesh. So, potentially $400 more to spend on marketing if we have a idea of how to do that. So, like Paco said, right? We've already proven that I can't grow Glimesh effectively. So any effort I spend on that seems to be absolutely wasted. But I can cut down costs. I'm good at that. And I want to do that for video as well. And so that's kind of one of the next things I'm going to talk about here. One of the neat things that happened recently was WebRTC. So WebRTC has existed since the beginning of time. AKA like 10 years ago, maybe 15. And it's existed as this way of sharing video, audio, and data between effectively two people. So back in the day, WebRTC was mainly focused on enabling a video call from your browser to someone else's browser without Google stealing all your data. And Nowadays, WebRTC is way more complicated than that. And in short, WebRTC, you may not like hear about it frequently, but it's what powers all of your other real-time experiences that you have as a person, as a gamer, as a programmer. Sorry, not even a programmer, as a worker. Anytime you're on like a Zoom call or a Google Hangout, or using Stadia, or you're watching, even some live TV, or you're watching like a real webcast, or uh, any of these things, you're using WebRTC without even realizing it. Heck, actually, on your phone, if you've got an iPhone and you do FaceTime, uh, FaceTime is now either partially or fully running over WebRTC, and so it's behind the scenes of everything, and it's not talked about because it's talked about in the developer circles, and for the users, it just works, so they really don't have to worry about it. So OBS recently added the ability, and this is still in development, they're not done with it, but they added the ability for our OBS to speak with WebRTC directly. And for us, we already use WebRTC. You're using WebRTC right now to view the stream. As soon as you send us your FTL or your RTMP, we convert that to WebRTC and then we shoot it out to your browser. So we're already using that. And so if OBS supported WebRTC as well, then all of a sudden it becomes so much easier to send data from the streamer to the viewer without any kind of complicated steps in the middle. Without doing anything special, really. It's just sending the packets directly to the end viewer. And there's also a lot of other benefits that come out of that as well. WebRTC has a lot of methods for adaptive bitrate, for congestion control. It's got some different recovery techniques for lost packets. There's a lot of different features out there that you can do, and we actually use some of that today to kind of help Glimesh out. And FTL actually has some of the same technologies kind of built into it. But having WebRTC in OBS and on Glimesh would allow us to basically simplify all of our code. Instead of us having to speak FTL and RTMP, we'd actually speak WebRTC and convert from FTL and RTMP directly into WebRTC. So that's kind of technical, but really what that means is we'd be able to simplify our video servers, make them more optimized, have them process less, and provide a more reliable stream for everyone, kind of just out of the box. Exactly, it's less like routes has to take. Every time we have to mutate the video data or the audio data, it adds just that little bit more of latency. So with WebRTC, I just actually got to refresh. Interesting. With WebRTC, all of that stuff kind of just funnels through, and there are some some humps that it goes through, but overall it's a little bit simpler. And so anyways, as soon as OBS released that, I've personally been waiting for that for a long time. In fact, I was talking, I think the day before with Hayden about what it would look like for us to fork and make an OBS plugin for WebRTC. And then the next day, the OBS team released initial version of it. So as soon as they did that, I was able to actually get a ingest prototype working that took WebRTC in from OBS and then threw it into our existing video servers, and it worked really well. There was definitely some tweaks to work through, but it kind of worked out of the box, which is really nice to see. So we're going to kind of explore that and what that may let us do in the future. I mean, for me, that's a really technically fun thing to explore. Honestly, there's not going to be a huge difference from a user perspective compared to FTL, since it is so similar. But my hopes is that maybe by default with WebRTC, we'll get a little bit better performance, a little bit better, more reliable performance out of it. So, FTL has problems where if you have any kind of network loss, it makes things difficult. And we've gotten a lot better at it. But WebRTC kind of has some of those things built in. And the one thing to throw out there is This wouldn't be, what this would allow us to do as well is make RTMP and FTL thin layers that exist that just kind of interface with WebRTC, which means that we could add more protocols a little bit easier. So if someone wanted SRT or some other video protocol, then we could add that with a little bit more efficiency than kind of integrating it from scratch. And especially since adding WebRTC to Glimesh doesn't really add anything for all the users out there who can't use FTL, because they're darn sure not going to be able to use WebRTC either. But if there is a new technology that will take over RTMP and get massive adoption, it's definitely going to be WebRTC. So we'll kind of see in the future. Sated Lord asks, would it make it easier for devs to add to the site? aka features. Unfortunately not. I mean, maybe like video features, although WebRTC can be even more complicated than FTL. But it wouldn't help like the Glimesh.tv like website, if you will, like adding subs or something. That would still be the same kind of code. And then Paco says, what do you see as a likely future for Glimesh? With all the differing protocols we're currently juggling and discussing, do you think we benefit from a focus on WebRTC over others? I think the core, in my opinion, the core needs to be WebRTC. And then that's our best experience. So if you stream from OBS with WebRTC, you get like the fastest latency, the most reliable streams. You can unplug your Ethernet cord and keep streaming. And then we additionally provide things like RTMP and FTL to support other software and devices that people have set up. I remember back in the day, in the beginning, we kind of ran into people who had physical streaming devices that you plug like an Ethernet cord into, and then you input your RTMP URL. And so like, that's not just a software update at that point. That device that you're plugging in has its own hardware that speaks RTMP. So, we'd still want to be able to support that, and like restreaming as well, right? Only talks RTMP right now. In the future, though, they might talk about WebRTC because that would be really a good way to optimize their services. But I think, like I said, I would prefer to see a WebRTC core just because it's already so easy to do, and then have little converters from RTMP and FTL. So the good thing about like FTL is just the negotiation protocol. Once it's being ingested, it's basically already WebRTC. We just push it into a stream. So it should be really light, really easy to support these protocols. So anyways, this is going to take a while to do, not only from our perspective, but from the OBS team as well. They're not. This is just like a draft pull request right now. It's not anything solidified. The OBS team has slated FTL for deprecation, so this would be the proposed alternative to that. But they won't be deprecating FTL until they've already published and fully support WebRTC. So don't worry about losing FTL or having to change anything or having to worry about it. It's likely, if I had to imagine how this would work, in 1 year, WebRTC, or maybe in 6 months, WebRTC would be added to OBS, and then we'd still have a good 6 months to a year of FTL before OBS even considers removing it. And so, nothing's really going to change or go away necessarily in the short term. So users would have to set up the new service. But again, I wouldn't even think about that kind of stuff yet because we have no idea what it's going to look like. This is very early on from the OBS team's perspective. This is something that they're not even focusing on. They're more focused on getting new releases out and getting needle mover features out. And honestly, I think that WebRTC is a needle mover feature, but I don't run OBS, so. Any other kind of questions for this first section here? So again, nothing will change in the short term, and nothing needs to change with your stream, and you don't need to really worry about this. This is just a cool new potential. All right, I'm gonna fly through the one other thing here that's cool. One other thing about WebRTC and the developer who made the pull request for OBS actually added basic support for this. But one of the cool things that it can even do, and this would be up to us to support it or not, but WebRTC, you would also be able to add sources in OBS of other live either streams or video. So what that means is you could even have like this is a crazy future potential feature, right? But you could even have your Glimesh stream. Right now we're doing a board meeting and we want to invite bandjacks in to chat with us in real time about the board meeting. And so what we could do is on Glimesh's side, show bandjacks a little link to join the call, and then he clicks that, and in his browser, he joins, with his video and audio, which pops up in my OBS as a source. I drag him in, I enable him, and then all of a sudden he's speaking to us in real time through OBS. I think that's a pretty interesting concept. Right now you have to hop on like a Discord call and figure all that shit out, and it can be kind of annoying, but that's a potential. In that same vein, like streaming from your phone can all of a sudden become a lot more, can be a lot more straightforward. You can just have any kind of WebRTC enabled app and join the call, and all of a sudden you're streaming from your phone. Um, and those are potential features. It would be up to us to actually figure out what we want to do there. Yeah, bandjacks. Yeah, because FTL doesn't exist on the mobile landscape. RTMP does, kind of. Not very good, though. But WebRTC, again, that's how you FaceTime. That's how when you use Google Meet and you video chat with people from your phone, if you've ever done that, that's what you use. Well, at Paco, one of the options is you could add, it's not exactly co-streaming, totally, it's definitely not, but you could add someone else's stream as a source in your OBS. Or we could take two streams and merge them into one from the back end, and then all of a sudden you've got one live video, but two streamers' content at the same time. There's a whole bunch of neat things you can do to kind of, yeah, exactly. Picture in picture, if you will. All right, but this is all like way future stuff. Not gonna see anything in short term. I will say what you will see in the short term is I'm going to keep pushing RTMP right now. I did make some changes and fixes the other day, but nobody was using it, so I couldn't test anything. So I know a couple of people are interested in testing RTMP again, and I'll reach out to them. Got a couple more fixes to do to support like restreaming, but really I just want to make sure there's some stability right now. So. All right, so then our metrics. So as always, these things aren't perfect, but this is our unique streamers and peak viewers for the last 3 months. Peak viewers is seeming to be all over the place, but this is week by week, so it's not exactly every week is different. And that's the other thing. Memory link death. If you're still, if you're working on that stuff, I wouldn't even worry about like WebRTC replacing it because it's so far of an idea. Like it's most likely the first iteration of that you'll see is just being able to share your mobile screen to your OBS client. It definitely won't be implemented as that anytime soon. And by soon, I mean like forever. Year. Forever for Glimesh. Okay, and then here's our analytics as well. So this is the last 3 months. You can see there is a little dip here again in overall traffic to the site. We did have these 2 peaks. I wouldn't worry about those. Those are definitely some weird, crazy stuff. But then overall for the month, we've been pretty consistent on about 3,000 average visitors. And then you can see here the 14 compared to 8 and 4. So August wasn't a great month as far as metrics goes. It seemed like these 3 months kind of were kind of setting a baseline, but then the 14 kind of brought us down pretty far. So, and then here's the app metrics, which is number of users using the app still. So still really good usage. It refreshed again. That's the other thing about moving this freaking web server. I'm so tired. I can't debug this refresh issue for some reason with our existing setup. So I'm simplifying the whole setup. So hopefully we can figure out the refresh issue. Makes me very annoyed. All right, we still live? Can someone message in chat real quick if you hear me? Okay, cool. All right, and then here is monies. Okay, hold on, I can't fit it all on one screen. Okay, there we go. So I guess keynotes here. We had less in subscriptions, unfortunately, basically by about $200. You can see that here. The payouts was a little bit more because I paid out a little bit less in July. I was pausing some payments due to suspected fraud. Those payments cleared though, so we paid them out here. And then we did have one dispute. So a dispute is any time a bank calls us and says, hey, our customer didn't authorize this. So there was one dispute. So I looked at it. It did look fraudulent. So I went ahead and refunded back to the card. And then I paid the dispute fee as well. So we took care of that this month. And then we actually made money on merch. I guess my merch notifications stopped working on my phone because I had no idea we were selling any merch. And then all of a sudden, Shopify deposited us like $300. So we sold merch in both July and August. Thankfully, to maybe Bandjax just bought every shirt. I really don't know. But we sold merch, and we actually made money for the first time on merch in like 6 months. So thank you to Bandjax for doing that. Now the shirts did cost us apparently $151 to make, but you know, whatever. At least you can represent Glimesh. All right, and then for the servers, same price as always. Basically in the same vein here. We do have like RTMP testing servers spun up, and I'm gonna make some new servers to delete some old servers, so it might fluctuate slightly. Recurring services down a little bit. I was able to cancel one of the services and get a refund for a couple of other ones. One of the providers that we were using for VPN testing kept charging even though I canceled. I canceled 3 times and they kept charging. And so I messaged them. I was like, no, I canceled 3 months ago. Give me 3 refunds. And they did. So that's there. And then you can see total income 1,460. Total expenses 2,611. So negative profit. And then I realized something with the complete balance that I want to address. Well, it's actually checking balance as well. So the Stripe balance, well, actually it's all of these balances. Sorry, let me just start over. I realized something. So these numbers up here are snapshotted, meaning this is as of the last day of August. That's how I generate them. And this is the last day of July, and this is the last day of June. But when I get these numbers I pull from the day I make the board document. So what happened here, if you can imagine, is we should have $1,200 more. But what happens is it's already the 14th, and so DigitalOcean already billed us. You know, they already billed us for this next month too. And we've already gotten our bills for like Shopify and Cloudflare, and all these bills have already been paid. And so the checking balance is never going to be, if you like sum up all this and minus it by this complete balance of the last month. So it'll never be complete balance minus total profit is equal to next complete balance. Yeah, just so everyone kind of have that in their mind, because this has 14 additional days of data in it that this number does not take into account. So Alrighty, that is it for the board meeting. Like I said, it's probably gonna be a short one. I really feel sick. I feel very sick. I'm probably gonna puke up a beer. So I kind of wanted to run through it a little bit. Does anyone have any questions or any ideas or anything they want to bring up? If anyone's actually interested in doing real RTMP testing for an extended amount of time, please like message me on Discord or something. Yeah, because I think the problem I keep having with RTMP is people use it during their normal streaming time, and I guarantee you I'm unavailable during that time. So like someone will be streaming at this time. Right now I'm having dinner, and I won't be able to help test. So I need someone who's like not relying on it to do their streams, if that makes sense. So like yeah, like exactly. If you have music or whatever, that's good to test because you can start and stop that at any time. Yeah, Paco, if you let me just type that stuff up first, then we can do the meeting at any time. I'm traveling next week again, but I'll be available anytime after that. What is today? Tuesday? Yeah. It should probably like either next Friday or today's Wednesday. Fuck. Jesus. Okay. All right. Well, today's Wednesday, so yeah, next like Friday or anytime after that would work for me, including the weekends and stuff. And I'll type it up this week. I'll have it done by Friday. By the end of Friday. And then Krakilla, pretty sure that's that. We do want to add VODs in the future, or at least we want to enable a recording of your stream to be downloaded at the very minimum. What we're probably going to be focused on first, though, is clips. So VODs are probably really far away. And like I said, we may not even end up supporting VODs like you're used to. They may be, clips, and then instead of giving a VOD, like all VODs of your previous streams, we just give you a download link for your previous stream, and then you can upload that to YouTube or wherever you want. Like Blitz said, it's hosting clips is not even a problem, but hosting like gigabyte videos is a lot to do. But we can provide a download to you, the streamer, then you download it, upload it to YouTube, and boom. Then YouTube has to do all the hard work, and they have infinite money, so. Alrighty. That's that. I'll try and upload this video right now, and then I gotta get the last board meeting text posted and this board meeting text posted. So I'll probably do that as well tomorrow. But the video should be live tonight, so thank you everyone for stopping by for the video. See you later.